This is FSD Supervised 12.6.4. This is just going to be the Lakeland and Back. So nothing really fancy there. I don't actually expect much to have changed. Normally these little dot releases don't do that much. Profile is set to standard, and my hands are off the steering wheel for now. That's weird. I've done a couple of drives in this one. I feel like they've tuned the braking. Because one of my complaints on the last couple of versions was that it felt like it was braking too late. And I feel like maybe they've adjusted that in this version, but honestly, I don't know. I haven't done any driving above 50 miles an hour, so I don't know if it's like when you're not in an FSD profile and it's just city street driving that the braking is better, or if it's just generally improved. I'm also not happy with yellow light handling. I feel like that's been going on a really long time, where it pulses the brakes at a brake light. So on the way back, if the car has me taking I-4, there might be one spot where I try to do a disengagement because it's like the pothole from hell, but we'll see. It's I don't know, it's not even like a pothole, it's like a pot chasm or something. This road gets used by semi-trucks quite a lot, and I don't know why Plant City hasn't gone in and fixed it yet, but the road just keeps getting chewed up. They keep doing these little patch things to try and fix the road, but it's like here, there's a really bad pothole right here, which we hit. And it's like right in line with the tire, so you pretty much hit it like every single time. But yeah, for the most part, the drives I do with FSD 12.6, for the most part, they're interventionless. Most of my issues now are last mile problems, making sure I end up where I need to be in a parking lot, or little odds and ends like that. There'll be a few scenarios where it's other drivers on the road cause me problems. But yeah, so on the other side of the road going south, there's like this great big crater in the middle of the road that on the way back, if FSD tries to hit that, I'm gonna disengage because I'll lose a tire. So it wants to change lanes, but there was a Camaro behind me that was kind of there, and it had to math out whether or not the Camaro was going to overtake. What it did is what I prefer, where it went to the outer lane, the outer left lane, but I would have left the blinker off until I was ready to change lanes. I get why it did what it did, but it shouldn't have done what it did. So this whole thing needs to be torn up and redone. So me personally, I know I'm getting on I-4. There's no reason for me to be left in this lane, but the car is not going to start trying to get over to the right lane until after this yellow light. If I'm following a car, it doesn't seem to pulse the brakes, but if I'm not following a car, it 100% it pulses the brakes. I should already be in the right lane. Again, I would have done it like, I don't know, before that blinking yellow light, though. So the interstate merge behavior, all that stuff, works wonderfully well. I typically drive on a hurry profile, but for the purpose of the video, I just leave it on standard. Dude's refilling his car with gas in the middle of the road. I shouldn't laugh, but the point is the reason I laugh is because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, what if you run out of battery power in the middle of the road? And it's like, that guy back there just ran out of gas in the middle of the road. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an electric car specific problem. It's if you're not paying attention and you push the thing too far, you're just going to run out of go. So for me, I'm getting off, not the next exit, but the one after, so just hanging out in this lane is fine. I would prefer to be in the far left lane because obviously it's going much further, much faster, but standard's not going to do that. I don't know what my maximum speed is. It should be 80, but I passed the 60 mile an hour sign, so it might not be 80. It's 80. It started blinking blue at the top because I was staring out the right side of the car looking at the warehouse. Again, with an offset of 80, I would have expected the car to change lanes into the far left lane by now. Which, I mean, it's a standard profile, so I think that's just how it is now. Chill will basically stick to the right lane as much as possible, and it won't try and change lanes much, which it's funny because a lot of people complain about chill being too chill and they lost their minimal lane change thing, but it's like it is exceedingly rare that there is a lane change I don't trust, and normally those lane changes are because there's a car in the left lane that's going way too fast, but it's like 1 in 1,000 lane changes or something like that. It's very rare. So now it's set my max at 69 miles an hour, which again in this area it's pretty much everybody goes 80. I don't like how close I am to the center lane divider there. Basically right in the line. I'm sure if there was another car there, it would have centered itself, but it's a computer. It should be doing it anyways, because that's the whole point of having a computer do that. So. camera recalibration on this one last week. So before I got 12.6.4, while I was still on 12.6.3, I don't see a reason to do it again. These drives are largely all just very uneventful now. Standard is held back too much. It's I feel like it's too close to chill. Hurry is right on. Standard I feel like is held back too much. Getting off at this exit, sometimes it shoots for the barrels. I feel like by now, there's a red X. It should know red means don't go there. But every now and then, after like a new map update, it tries to go for the barrels. Slowing down way too much. I get that the speed limit sign says 25 miles an hour, but this would get me in trouble if someone was following me. It should be shooting to go through there at like 40 miles an hour. It's the first time I've had to slow down that much going through that toll booth. That is not desirable. If there was an actual toll attendant there, sure, slow down so that I can maybe toss the coins in and keep going or whatever, but that's not what that toll booth is. They've gone toll by plate on this toll road entirely. So there will never be an attendant working that booth. It did not turn on the blinker to get into the adjacent lane, so that's nice. And there wasn't any traffic to try and discourage it from doing that. It just straight up didn't do it. So here we're going to want to get in the center lane. The city of Lakeland has gone through and repainted the center lane markers properly. When did I get this update? Was it Thursday night? I can't remember. But I drove through here Thursday. I can't remember which version of this I was on. I'd have to look it up. I drove through here Thursday, and the car in front of me changed lanes in the middle of the intersection, and I did not. So that was nice to see. But if I had to guess, it's because the lane markings are painted properly now. I've found that FSD will cheat just a little bit when it's doing stuff, and it there's a degree of following the car ahead of you if it's less certain about something. There's some sort of logic that says trust the human ahead, and it kind of blends the FSD decision making with whatever the lead car is doing. So we need to stay in this lane. Which we do a little bit of crossing the lane marker, but not that much. That was a part of somebody's car, but I didn't hit it. Looked like a headlight socket doodad thingy. What the hell's the guy in a golf cart doing in the middle of the damn road? That's not allowed. Well, not allowed here. This is in Sun City. So, and I've yet to touch the steering wheel, so. A lot of traffic for a Saturday. Side of the parking lot. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that didn't feel good at all. So I can't go past these cones. I guess they're resurfacing the parking lot today. So this is as far as you can go. What are we going to do? It wants to back up. That's interesting that it has the tentacle saying it can't go this way. I must reverse. That's a cute attempt at parking. Okay. So it's not actually parked. It put me on a lane marking. So obviously this isn't very good parking. I will back up into the space behind me here. I didn't like the speed bump because it kind of hit the brakes while it was going over the speed bump, which ended up like slamming the brakes, and it made it uncomfortable, and it felt not good for the car, for lack of a better description here. I want to do the interstate. Yep, okay. So where does it think I am, and what does it think I have to do? It thinks I have to do a U-turn. Windshield washer fluid. Okay, let's see what we do. So it's not been very good at sniffing its way out of this parking lot. The plot is fine. I think it'll get out of the parking lot from here. Normally I park at the other end of the parking lot, but I guess it's being resurfaced. But this is like the last mile stuff where the FSD seems to have the most kind of trouble. There's like parking lots and stuff. Car coming on the right. Should be enough time if it doesn't stop. Go, go, go. Good. Sort of. So in the past it's done some decision-making issues on which lane to pick. Personally, I would not have picked this lane. I would not have picked this lane because once I turn, I need to be in the right lane. So this lane will 100% get me through on this traffic light. But it's going to result in me having to change lanes into the right lane. Which means I then have to hope that traffic in the right lane lets me in, and I'll have to deal with somebody going, well, why'd you get in that lane when you didn't need to be in that lane, and yada da 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 da. So I wouldn't have done it, is I guess the main takeaway here. So while we're at this red light, I've explained what we're going to do here a few times, but this is frontage road, this is SR 570. When I make this right turn, the car has to go straight across. So far, 12.6 has been doing a good job of that. And we will see if that trend continues with this version. So again, my hands haven't been on the steering wheel. The only time I've touched the steering wheel so far was when I put it in reverse and I backed into the parking space that was behind me. So this would be the most opportune time to try and change lanes into the right lane. Never get a better opportunity than this. There it is. I'd have done it sooner, but it is what it is. So far I'm appreciating the braking, but we'll see what we end up with once we're on the interstate. the light turns red, which means cross traffic's going to start. I would not stop. The car is not stopping. Now it needs to go all the way to the left. Beautiful. Now what I suspect is going to happen, and I may have to hit the accelerator a bit, is when I go through the toll booth, it's going to do it at like 15 miles an hour. Like it did on the other side. Let's see what we get. It's a little better. And it's getting up to speed. Needs to go faster. There it is. Beautiful. So, this side is fixed. Now they gotta go back and fix the other side. My community gates are still messed up. They're in various states of working and not working. It's like on one side the exit gate is stuck open but the entry gate works, and then on the other side the entry gate is stuck open and the exit gate works. So my experience with gates so far is the exit gates will work just fine, but the entry gates, it trips over. What I'm finding is if the gate is stuck open, the car sometimes brakes for a gate that's closed, and it's very hit or miss. Some days it'll go through the open gate, and other days it'll stop before it goes through the gate. It's very hit or miss, very unreliable. Or it will go through the gate, and on some days it'll go through at a very regular, acceptable speed, and then other days it goes through at like 10 miles an hour. There was one day when the gate was closed, and there's a little spot where you can do a U-turn if the gate's closed, and as it's approaching the gate, it immediately goes, oh hey, the gate's closed, and immediately starts to do a U-turn and just leave the community right then and there. And it was a very smooth motion, and I was impressed at how smooth it was to basically go, oh, can't go that way, and pull a U-turn. But the expected behavior was that it was going to stop and wait for the gate to open. The absolute largest issue that I'm seeing with the gates is once it opens, it does not know if it's clear to go because it has to pull so far forward that there's no camera and no sensing to confirm the gate is open. And you end up seeing the little gray blob on the screen here. The gray blob basically stays even after the gate is open because it can't confirm anything 1 to 2 feet in front of the car. Now, a bumper camera will absolutely resolve that. My understanding is that the bumper cameras are not part of the FSD stack yet, but I'm fairly positive that when it comes time to retrofit these hardware 3 cars, like this one here uses hardware 3, it's a 2022 Model Y, and I'm fairly positive that once they start doing the retrofits, it has to include the bumper camera, otherwise it's just not going to be able to handle gated communities and stuff. So now here I would be in the left lane. This right lane collapses into the left. There's no reason to be in this lane. I would already be changing lanes over just to be in the right place. There is an SUV coming up pretty quick. I should have had this on. But I should be fine. Yeah. they'll get annoyed with me. I will say, the refreshed Model Y fascinates me in a few different respects. Their decision to use the reflective rear brake light, that great big light bar that's reflective on the back. I feel like outside of it being an interesting design choice from why is the interstate closed? Huh. Anyways, outside of an interesting design choice from just a lighting perspective, I feel like folks are going to find out that at night the brake light is going to end up helping judge distances and whatnot for how close you are to something. And I'll be curious to see whether or not they try and factor that brake light into how FSD auto park works. Because it reflects down onto the ground, which means it gives you some sort of, okay, well, if I see the light here, then I know to stop when the brake light is past whatever it is I'm backing up towards, right? So if you're backing up towards a curb, in theory at night, the brake light will let you know when you've reached the curb and you're now maybe too close to the curb or whatever, you know. So it's an interesting choice. I think there's a lot of function with form and stuff like that. Am I going to trade this one in for it? No. I bought in 2022. I'm too far upside down. So I can feel it braking, and I don't know why. There's tons of runway. I don't need to be in the other lane for a little bit. But we went from 80 miles an hour down to 75. And being in the center lane, I'm more of a problem than I am anything else at this point. I do need to be in the right lane. There's a white pickup truck that's gaining speed on me. I'm still slowing down. Not a fan of that at all. I don't get this behavior when I'm on hurry. Now I gotta wait until the semi-truck passes me before it changes lanes. There it is. Not semi-truck, that truck. My word. Losing my damn mind. So I didn't have any stop and go traffic on the interstate, so I can't really pass judgment on how the braking works. I will say approaching the vehicle in front of me just now, perfect. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to use it more before I feel whether or not they've actually resolved the issue. It feels like they might have, but I don't know. I haven't used it enough. Pushing an ice cream cart. Oh, dude. No, don't walk the line, man. see you. You don't need to try and get my attention, dude. Sorry, buddy. I feel like that truck in front of me is one of my neighbors. So, still haven't touched the steering wheel. So this is basically, so far, zero disengagement intervention here. Albeit, still not flawless, but yeah, we're getting better. So here, there's my brake pulsing. Yeah, see, every time that yellow light blinks, we pulse the brakes a little bit. So that's still very much a problem. I don't know. It's starting to reach a point where I feel like I need to start driving through areas and recording smaller clips where there's known issues. Like, there's some turn lanes that this thing doesn't manage properly. And then it'd be easier that boat is stopped in the middle of the road. That boat is stopped. Okay, dude, that is not safe, man. There are specific spots where it feels like improvements absolutely need to be made. Wow. Thought the red light would last longer. There's one turn lane. That's a massive pothole. Goes down like 5 inches or something. There's one turn lane where the car is supposed to turn right, but instead of getting into the turn lane properly, it tries to turn into business. And it's been doing that for like 4 years now. Every now and then I'll think it's fixed, and then it does it again. And I know I must drive my wife nuts because I know it's on her daily commute. So it's not like Tesla's not getting the data back on that turn. So I don't know why it's not fixed. It's been like that since 10. What did I start on? 10.2, I think. So, but it's making me feel like when I run into an issue, I need to like immediately stop and record the problem and then carry on to wherever I'm going next. But it's not always convenient to do that. So, but yeah, here we are. 0 disengagements, 0 interventions. Again, not flawless. The yellow blinking light thing is absolutely still there. If there's a lead car, it's less prevalent, but when there's no lead car, you're just slamming on them. That one's not that bad. There's another one where it slams the brakes a lot, and it's really bad. That one's on my daily commute. And then the toll booth going towards Harden Blvd, I have no idea why we slowed down to 15 miles an hour going through that one. Normally it does it about 35, 40 miles an hour, which is perfect. The going away from Harden Blvd, that toll booth was handled fine for a change. So it's, you know, but as a whole, we're good. We're a lot better. I feel like the braking thing might be fixed. Haven't had a really good moment where we would have tested it in like stop and go traffic and stuff, but as always, just minor improvements here and there. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Yep. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Nothing else going on. Thanks for watching.